Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Grumman Style YouTube channel. And today we're going to talk about a brief history of Roscoe. That would be me. So let's start talking about it. I bought my first airplane in 1991. It was a Grumman Traveler. I was working for the Naval Research Lab. I have multiple BSs. I have 2 masters, 2 PhDs. I did postdoc work for the NRL. I did the CAC Moving Map project, which brought me into doing aerial maps for military aircraft, which brought me into buying my own airplane. I started working on my A&P almost immediately under Charles Alexander, who says cleanliness is next to airworthiness. I started my flying lessons. 22 days later, I had my license. In 1992, I got my instrument and my commercial, 94 multi, 98 ATP. And my first year of flying, I flew 780 hours. So that's my year of 1991. Thoroughly enjoyed my Grumman, reaching out to other people who had Grummans and meeting the community. Had a great time. It was a great traveling airplane, and I used it starting to go back and forth everywhere. Which brings us now to 1992. So in 1992, I decided I didn't want to work for the government anymore, so I left the Naval Research Lab and I started my own company called Survey Air. We did aerial surveying with our 2 camera ports and our Traveler. We flew all over the country, and that was the time when through Sporties for 2 years I got every IFR, every VFR chart and approach plate on rotation every day because I never knew when I would get a phone call and when I would go, where I'd be going in the country to do the aerial work. So for a while we got big boxes of lots of charts. And by the way, on the camera port, when I first contacted the Baton Rouge FSDO and said I wanted to put a camera port in my airplane, their comment was, why do you want to put a hole in a perfectly good aircraft? Then I started working my way north, calling FSDOs. And finally, when I got to the floor of the Louisville FSDO, they said, bring us a prototype and then get somebody to install it and bring it back and show it to us. And we did, and we have camera ports. By the way, that field approval has been shared with John Shardema and several other Grumman owners who wanted to have camera ports in the belly of their aircraft. The most noticeable thing that I did with the camera ports was we found the original Wright Brothers hangars on Huffman Prairie up at Wright Pat. Very proud of that work. Lots of work. We wrote all the software, did all the imagery analysis, but it was nice to have a stake in the ground that we did something historic with NASA's archaeological department. 1993, a very eventful year. I joined, first off, I met Dicey Miller. Ken was nice enough to make that introduction. And finally, I joined an organization. And I became, over the years, vice president, president, archivist, parliamentarian, past president, regional director of 2 different regions, Great Lakes and Southern region. And I volunteered to be the web guy for that organization in 2005. But no, they had to pay a rookie. But enough of that. As you see, I've been an award winner. I was nominated 10 times, and every time I was nominated, I removed my name because I simply was doing my job as a board member. If you've seen my videos, occasionally when I pan through the hangar, you see all the trophies on my wall. Those are only half of the ones I've run. I ran out of wall space at the hangar to show all the trophies. I chaired 3 conventions. I chaired 1998, 2001, and 2010. And I also co-chaired 97, St. Simon's Island in 2003, and the Arlington in 2013. Didn't know what Arlington was going to be like in 2013, but we'll talk about that when we get there. If you've been to any of these, I know you had a great time. I would loan my Grumman out to anybody who from out of the country who needed an airplane to fly. I brought the Precision Taxi Games to the Reindeer Games in 1995 after first debuting it at Rough River. I served on the first Air Boss team for 5 years. And if you look on the back of 126 old stars, you'll find all my contact information. Well, welcome to 1994. And you know what? I'm discovering that all my flying buddies live in Ohio. And guess what? I'm thinking about moving. You know, when you're flying every weekend, 3 out of 4 weekends a month for like 8 months, back and forth, New Orleans to Brookville, Ohio, every weekend you start thinking about moving. And guess what? That's what we had a plan for 1995. Well, we actually did the move. Packed up all the house, moved it up into a rental house, and then a few months later bought a house. and we are having a great time in Ohio. It's nice having your flying buddies. It's nice not living 40 minutes from your airport. I mean, here in Cincinnati with Blue Ash, I was literally 10 minutes from my airplane all the time. It opened up a whole door to me. And from 1995 on, there was a lot I had to do working for the company and consulting with Ford. And time kept ticking away. I started consulting at the University of Cincinnati while working my full-time gig and traveling around. We had a lot of fun. We went boating on the river in the summers. It's really just a drink fest to go down a river and paddle a canoe. But got to travel around, got to co-chair for the 97 convention, and we had a lot of fun doing all of that, setting up, getting ready for the year 1998. But traveling around, I mean, I got to go to my high school reunion, began an affection with a cat named Jetson, because when we ran around the house, he just purred all the time. But anyway, traveling around with the airplane, meeting new friends, it just opens up the whole world for you. And some of those friends, like Karen Wilson, then Thompson now, lives in Hawaii. 1998 was a really big year for me. Went to Cody, Wyoming, threw a convention there, and went back to Cody 7 times between that and the end of the year to bring back an airplane. Not to mention I was spooking the newspaper reporter that lived in that town. All in all, a very good year. In 1999, I was looking at the fact that I'm going all the time to Detroit to consult with Ford. I started that year to look around to see where else in the country I might go to be able to deploy my wares and do my job. And I also was burning up a ton of vacation time. I went to the Bahamas, I went skiing, I did several things, and also flew up to Alaska for 4 weeks with John Maestre in August of that year. And while we were there, we went on an eagle capture. We were just a couple of bored guys, but it was a great time, a lot of great thoughts. And again, in 99, and then come back 2 weeks later, John passes away. Now I know I'm really going to move, and that was what set up the move for the year 2000 for me. But enjoy this fun little bit of looking at an eagle.
This is to prove that Roscoe's here. We don't need to walk anywhere.
Is it on record?
Yes.
Look at the salmon jumping right out there.
Smile, Roscoe.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. This is where we are.
Middle of nowhere. We are. Nice black volcanic rock. Big salmon jumping.
Let's get the button. Yeah, it's okay.
Oh, that's just a stuffed eagle. It's not real.
Unbelievable. Look at this.
How about a glove, John? I think you better have a leather glove.
Okay, let me zoom in on that. Hold it still. This is why you don't play with eagles.
It's with bears. Sounds like more fun.
On the wrong side.
I couldn't help it.
You just didn't get your finger out of the way fast enough. And it's just going to eat all we give it.
Starving to death.
Here.
Poor thing. Oh, I'm alright. It's just...
He's got a spare thumb on the other hand.
No big deal.
You got a spare. I got Neosporin.
I got an owie.
Eagle owie.
No. Is that all you want, huh?
So in 2000, I moved to Austin, Texas, and got a lot more money working down there and kind of set up the next stage of my life, but had a great time. When the company folded 10 months later, I took my silver parachute, and Martin Walker and I started a company called Sentinel Network Solutions. But I had a great time moving down to Austin. It was a great place to live. Wonderful country, wonderful people, nice being close to Fletcher, and getting to spend a lot of quality time with Garner. Two 2003 was an eventful year. I got the highest award in one organization. I finally, after struggling for years trying to pull my nose strut, success finally that year. pull it every year or every 2 years, folks, and have it checked. But 2003, we bought a house on an air park, and that opened up another new aspect of life, thinking of aviation. And did I want to keep working? And you know what? In 2005, I'm thinking I'm taking this job in Boise. We're going to move out west, and we're going to have a great time, celebrate my 50th birthday, theme in Mardi Gras. But you know, we start looking at 2005 and start thinking, gee, look at all the places I've had to live over the years. Austin, Dearborn, Boise, Huntsville, Hattiesburg. You know, so thinking about all of that, worked with Air Mods and Fletch Air. I started Yankee Aviation. I bought Luann, a Yankee, and I did many kindnesses. Many of you don't know about that, but I go on the Grumman gang and go, folks, contact me privately, but I need to raise some money for a good cause. One of those good causes was one year buying every Grumman shop a Christmas dinner catered for that shop, and we did it for a number of shops around the country. And then several years later, I'm hearing stories that a family, you know, Garner and his wife and his kids were having trouble with their eyes. We raised money again in a second kindness and sent that money to the family, and they all got glasses. So that kind of wraps up what we kind of did for all those years. You know, kept seeing my old bosses, working with the organizations, building a knowledge base of what's going on with Grummans, and decided at that point that we're going to stay here and we're going to continue pushing Yankee Aviation. Stage one of the process was I auditioned and won the job with AOPA's Air Safety Foundation, and for a year and a half I traveled the country and I gave talks on aviation safety based upon my background as a pilot, budgeting mechanic, airport manager, and other aviation responsibilities that I'd had over the years. Yankee Aviation continued to grow and expand. So did my knowledge of Grummans, began consulting with other people. But you know, I still had some spare time. And then along comes the year 2008 with a really big snowstorm and lots of times just sit in front of the wood stove. And we came up with a practical joke long distance via phone, and we executed it.
And you know who we're talking about. So now let's move on to the clip and let's enjoy all the fun here. Let me set it up for you. So here's what's going to happen. Ron's going to ask a question from the movie Conan the Barbarian, and he's going to ask the father saying, what is best in life? And he's expecting no one to know the answer. But we'd already prepped the people with the following answer. And what you're going to hear is people in the audience standing up and yelling at Ron the answer to his question.
For you who are wearing purple ribbons, how many of you have seen the movie Conan the Barbarian? You may remember the scene. And Conan is sitting around at the warlord's camp. And the warlord asks his son, what is best in life? And the son says something about
And we spent a lot of time going to Oshkosh. Luann and I would go every year. We'd camp in the Yellowstone area and walk our way all around it. But it gave us a chance to explore the world and meet a lot of other fun aviation folks and think about where we're going to go for the final down the road to retire and think about things. But you know, it's only 2009 and we're going up to Red Deer and having a good time and seeing folks. So, as they might have noticed, airplane business taking off. My other business, custom milled lumber, taking logs and slopping into planer lumber, quarter sewn, both took off. Can you imagine which way I went? In 2011 on eBay, I bought the Grumman letters, and here they are sitting on the sofa, and the Grumman bird. These came off of the Grumman building at Cape Canaveral down in Florida. And one of the projects that Shop Monkey and I have for 2021 is we're going to put these back on the sign, backlight them with LEDs, and put them up in the shop and have them lighting again. But again, we were very happy to find these historic letters. So when people say, what's your Grumman sign? you can come look at ours in our hangar. "2013 was a very eventful year. But, you know, all the years I traveled around to all these conventions, 21 of them in a row, didn't miss a single one. But that was the year that, for whatever reason, I had to be ejected. And I was even forbidden by Charlie Adams to attend Arlington, either as a co-chair
Good evening
or
from
as
the
a
board
guest.
here.
And
It's the first time that we are sitting
long
all
flights to
together
those conventions.
for good
I had a lot of
reasons,
overtime on my hand,
because
but
we are a
moved
new
forward
board
with our
and
life.
we would like
In 2014, Bob Stewart passed away, and we all went down to his hangar to help get his airplanes out and help out the family and get owners back their airplanes. And during that event, as you've seen the video, we ended up founding the Grumman Pilots Association. And I had all this spare time on my hands. What was I going to do with it? I was going to throw it into another organization. So 2014 was a very nice year for the Grumman Pilots Association. We designed all our logos. We started coming up with our first founders gathering, and many of the people that we met there have gone west, but still, it's an organization that started 6 years ago, and we're now over 2,600 members. And what does the GPA do? Provide a lot of information and expertise and maintenance ability. Gee, we come up with a lot of great videos and a lot of other information to help you with your airplane, as well as other aspects of owning an aircraft. So, not been a bad organization to be a part of. As the organization grew, we had fly-ins around the country. Shop Monkey and I got to meet a lot of folks. But the net effect was, in 2015, our first year, we had like 315 people join. We had a great time conveying the information and getting a list of volunteers to help us with things. I distributed all over the country. And then, other than the fact that the GPA did really good that year, I got to marry the love of my life, this wonderful woman, aka Sparkle. Happy to have her. 2016, our YouTube channel continued to grow. We flew around the country, but the big thing was the GPA. We had a big thing in Bowling Green. We had a signage for us, but we had over 1,000 videos, which brings to mind for me that you don't ever need to have a memorial for me, folks. Y'all can just get together, buy some popcorn and beer, and watch my videos and just stream them. Binge watch them. Thank you very much. Of particular note was that we were continuing the wrench and elbow
we hit
meetings of the
another Easter
GPA
egg
that
for
Ken
you
and
to
I
find.
started last
Enjoy,
year.
folks.
But we came
Thanks
up
for
with a
watching.
brand new intro and exit for their videos on the killing. Here it is. "2018 was a very eventful year. We started off in February. We went to Hawaii for 2 weeks. We took Ken and Jan with Luann and I. Mark and Kelly were there. We had a gathering at Kailua, Hawaii, on the island of Maui. Saw a lot of the great folks. But other than the fly-in and working with Ken, went back. Ken was starting to have some respiratory problems, and I ended up going back to his shop and helping him work on the shop for a week to get airplanes and everything out. He wasn't taking any more work. But then I had my accident. And let me tell you, folks, I am a very, very lucky guy. First off, I'm alive. I'm on the right side of the living. And let me thank those of you who came when I was in and out of my comas for 2 months, who helped Luann and I after the event. I had a blackout of 2 months. I don't remember any of it. I'm kind of glad I don't, because of all the procedures and the other bad stuff that had happened to me, and the swelling of my body had eventually gone down. But the good news is when I did come back, I came back as me. My memory's intact. It really is me. It's been verified. And again, I am very, very happy to be alive. Thanks for all your well wishes. we're going to see the airplane coming into view. It'll be right along the center axis of the view, right over that hilltop, coming in, and that's it. Impacting the ground right, being zoomed in. And right after the accident, as soon as I felt well enough, I went out to the airport one day and we videotaped what I had to say about the airplane that I had my incident in. So we were back to making videos, and we had video number 667, this one, come out. Luann had never been happy with having 666 as the number of videos that we had produced up to the day of the accident. So by the time 2019 arrived, we found out about all the stuff that was up for grabs up at Ken's shop, getting ready to be thrown in a dumpster. So I was nice enough to be able to call across the country and get folks to help me go up there. Well, not me, but virtually me. Sent a team up there to take all the stuff, get it in trucks, and bring it back to my hangar here so it didn't get thrown away. I'd like to thank for all of you who helped with that opportunity. I could not do it myself being in the wheelchair, but I was coming to grabs of what I could still do for the Grumman community, besides just now selling bits to the fleet and providing knowledge. So enjoy all this fun for just a brief moment.
Okay, so the background noise being provided by Michael on the mower, the Cub Cadet, bright yellow, zero turn radius. And here I am on the camera doing a remote microphone test, and I'm approximately 8 feet from the camera. So there you go, there's my little test. Thank you.
So here it is, 2020, and we're pretty much at the tail end of it. Today is Christmas Eve. It's snowing outside here in Ohio, but I am finally going to share a lot of my health issues with you. So my health is back to my old health. My stamina is pretty good. I don't have any more fever and chill cycles. Those were finally knocked out about 4 or 5 months ago. I really am starting to feel like a normal person. I only need my 2 to 4 hours of sleep a night, so I really feel like I'm back. I've got some Grumman info for you, and you'll get that from time to time over the years. We are working on getting Ken's STCs so that they will continue to support the fleet. And I have decided finally that I am going to enjoy the time that I have left. I turned down a job as a vice president for Procter & Gamble just a couple of weeks ago. I don't need the money really, and I want to have my time available for enjoying what I have left. And speaking of that, I have been thoroughly enjoyed over the years meeting all of you. Thank for all of you who have helped me enjoy and expand my life. I'd like to thank you all. And then the big question becomes, now what? What is Roscoe going to do now? Stay tuned.